Yo, what's poppin', guys? You got your boy Nandra here. Welcome to another video. So for this video, it's that time of the season again. Oops, it's the rotation cup this time for Dawnbreak Night Edge, and we're still in week one. So it's, the qualifying stages to get to stage 2. So because I knew I wasn't gonna be streaming these or whatever, I figured I would go ahead and actually record it and actually show you guys my games, just so this way you guys can see how I'm doing, see like what I'm doing, whatever, if I'm doing something right, if I'm doing something wrong, things like that. So I'll just go and quickly scroll through the list I'm using here. As you can quickly see, it is Hybrid Portal. I don't want to do like a ninja building or anything like that, just because it's not my list. So I'll just go hop into the games. So as you can see, I went on a 4-1. It would have been a 5-0. However, some fortunate things happened in the Haven game, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to go ahead and show you the games where I did win, because like the game where I lost was more or less a bad beat. But anyway, so we'll start off with the Runecraft game. Alright, so as you know, when you're versus Runecraft, for the most part, you should generally assume that it's going to be either one or two things, well, possibly one of three things, but it's either going to be Spellboost Rune with Giant Chimera, it's going to be Ginger Rune, or it's going to be Dirt Rune, one of the three. So I kept the Miriam in my hand. To be honest with you, this was a little bit of a misplay. I should have tossed it back as well, but I was hoping that I'd pick up a 2-drop and, be good to go. But unfortunately for me, I do not. I pick up more reactive cards. I do thankfully have a Noah, and I am going first, so I do make it a turn 9 before he makes it a turn 9, so I can always go ahead and play Noah for 4 puppets to try to block a Gachimera shot. However, unfortunately, I don't pick up cards. I'm just going to hold my 2-drop here, because it's 2-1. If he has Missile, like so, this means I'll have a bad time. Now here, I pick up another Strings. I'll go ahead and play out Miriam here. I'll go ahead and play it out because this one isn't Resonance. I'll obviously choose the Light Angel Miriam to go ahead and put in the put in the Prime Artifact as well as the Radiant Artifact into my deck. And here he just plays the second missile. I was really surprised they had the second missile, but it's fine. It doesn't matter that much. So here what I'll do is actually go ahead and actually play out the Forever Machine Soldier. So the reason I'm playing this out is because I know that next turn, what he's going to do is he's going to go ahead and no matter what, he's almost surely going to have Magic Evolve. Either Magic Evolve or he'll have Rune Evolve. One of the two. And that's perfectly fine with me. What I wanted to do was, because I knew he's trying to come here, I wanted to fish out either this, or I wanted to fish out the Prime Artifact, because no matter what, I'll be playing the Prime Artifact before the end of this game. The reason being is that Prime Artifact is possibly one of the best answers in my deck for just permanently just like blocking Gachimera shots. Additionally, it can help me if I need to like push damage or whatever, just because yes, it gives him a conduit for his spells. However, ultimately it's still blocking Giant Chimera shots, and he now needs to have he now will need to have 5 more damage at every single point of the game, unless he can obviously mutable or whatever, but that's not common in Spellboost Rune. So ideally, I would have picked up the Prime Artifact immediately and just had this in the back as like reach, but unfortunately for me, that's not what happens. So he has the Owl. He then has the Mysterious Missile, which you knew before. So if he just like made the trade, right? If he just made the trade, then what we would have done is we would just like use Substitution, or maybe say play the Chrysalis top deck, or maybe say play the Flower Doll if we didn't top deck anything. But because he did that, right? Because he did that, I'm like, okay, sure, we're gonna go for this now. We're just going to go ahead and play the Radiant Artifact. We're just going to go ahead and suicide it away. We get our clean search. If you suicide it on your turn, you get the automatic search as opposed to drawing the card. So here, you just keep drawing a bunch of cards. Plays out Silent Lab, and that's fine with me. I'm perfectly fine with this. I pick up an Orcus. This is good. I have a lot of puppet generation. This is nice. This is very, very nice. I can produce, I think it's like 6 puppets at the moment. 7 if you include the Noah, and that's good. That's good enough for me. So I'll go ahead and do this, and then play Strings. The reason why I'm playing the Strings is because Strings is kind of a heavy card, and at this point in the game, I have everything I could possibly want. I have the Noah, I have an Orcus, I have the Prime Artifact, I have everything I want. I even have generation in order to make sure that I keep getting puppets. What I don't have is the actual puppets themselves immediately, because strings is heavy, substitution is kind of heavy because he's not really playing that many creatures. So I wanted to just do it now. I had the chance because I knew that next turn I'm going to play Primal Artifact no matter what. I'm just going to play it. Now here he plays Mysterious Knowledge, and he then gets the circle. He then plays the circle. Now, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So here, all I'll go ahead and do is I do want to hold on to this Evo, but I'm not going to play any other cards, like, because I do want the puppets for his I do want the puppets this way. Like, my Orcus is active, and if I give up the puppets now, I'm not going to have like a good time, because like it's going to take me a while to get the puppets back into my hand. So if he wants to hit me for 2, he can hit me for 2. That's fine. Here he's still drawing cards, he's still charging up his stuff, and here he uses up a Fire Embrace. I didn't really like the usage of the Fire Embrace, at least not early, because like he's trying to stop it from hitting him in the face, right? But that's not important. What's important is that like Fire Embrace is actually probably one of the best cards in Gachimera Rune, just because like you want to try to make it a 0 cost, and you want to try to save it for your Gachimera turn. You save it for the Gachimera turn, so this way, no matter how, because like what the good players will do is they'll go ahead and they'll try to put out as much HP as possible going to the Rune player's turn 9 to try to soak up as much Gachimera damage as possible. But if you have the Fire Embrace as a 0 cost, you can go ahead and blow it up. If you have like things like that, if you have things like say Chimera, like say Mini Chimera, same thing. That's just like what you should be aiming for as the Rune player, but he's not aiming for that. That's fine. What I'll go ahead and do here is this one turn I have to go wide, so I'll go ahead and take it up. So I'll go ahead and start us off by playing Miriam to search out another Radiant artifact, another Ancient artifact. Those are all I had in my deck. And so now from here, I'll go ahead and play out Flower Doll into the Ancient artifact. I'll go ahead and hold the puppet, because again, the puppets are good for the Orcus, they're good for the Noah. Now here he plays out Frozen Mayor. So when he plays out the Frozen, alright, so he plays out these, I'm like, oh god, no, oh no, oh no, oh no. He then plays the Golem Sauce. I'm like, okay, maybe he doesn't have it, but no, there's a Chimera there, so he gets to trigger this immediately. I'm like, oh god, no, this is terrifying. So here he gets out. How much is this? It's like he gets out like 18-20 worth of stats. This is absolutely terrifying, because this kind of like blows away like the entire game plan I had of that. I want to have as much HP as possible in order to stop the Giant Chimera from killing me. But now we have to go ahead. We have to improvise. We have to not only take care of this board, right? We have to not only take care of this board, but because he has one more Evo, we have to also hope to God that we have an answer for if he actually turns out to be Embodied Witch, because if he's Embodied Witch and he copies like say Giant Chimeras, we cannot win, because the Giant Chimeras will always hit for like 1 billion after this point. So what we'll go ahead and do is just go ahead and make the cleanest, we're just going to take the cleanest clear there possible. One issue for this is I wanted to hold on to either one of these, or I just wanted to be able to hold on to my Evo. But thankfully, because I picked up the Hamlin, I don't have to worry about that as much. Because one thing he could have done is he could just like play up the Giant Chimera for tempo to clear my board, and then have a 6/6, and then just like play a second Giant Chimera and then kill me that way. So what we'll go ahead and do here is we'll go ahead and play up the Noah. We buff 4 puppets, and so now we'll go ahead and start making trades. As you see here, I'm just gonna go ahead and clear the board in a good way. I like making it clear this way, so this way I keep a lot of HP in play, a lot of HP. As you see here, I'll be evolving into his 6/7 and going face for 4. So with this, we have a total of 9 HP in play. So now, if this Giant Chimera wants to kill us, it has to hit for 25. This person has to hit for 25. If it doesn't hit for 25, what we can do is we can always go ahead and suicide this, then copy it with Hamlin to then turn on this Orcus to then play Lloyd, and then have the Lloyd heal us for 3 possibly if need be. Something like that. We still have the Primal Artifact as well. He can't get rid of this. I know he can't get rid of this. So here what he does is he plays a Snowman King. This wasn't what I was expecting the slightest. He then goes ahead and gives me another Evolve. I'm assuming, presumably, to clear out the Primal Artifact. So that is kind of scary for him to deal with. However, that's not really the play. I think what I would have done personally is I would have just ignored it. The reason why you want to ignore it is because like now, we yet again I have a 5/5 here that's gonna soak up 5 damage from Giant Chimera, whereas before it would have only soaked up either 3 damage or no damage if I just if I just had to use it to trade, which was certainly possible. That was like a thing I was gonna do, just because like I am out of evolve points, I am starting to run out of resources, and the only thing he knew was I had the guaranteed ancient artifact in my hand. But thankfully, we were able to top like a second Hamlin, so now I can go wild. So we'll go ahead and play strings first immediately into Hamlin to copy the ancient. Then we'll go ahead and trade in. We'll go ahead and trade in the puppets next. We have to trade it in, and this way, this way we get the clear that we want while using it as few resources, as few like major resources as possible. So now here I get to be cute with my Flower Doll. I get to bump in my Flower Doll. Honestly, Flower Doll control is one of the funniest things. I don't know why I just enjoy it so much. Because here we get back the Flower Doll, right? We get back the Flower Doll, but we also gain in the puppet as well in exchange for 1 damage. And now we're back to status quo. He can't kill me because now I have even more HP in play than I did before. Now I have a total of 13 HP in play plus my 16 HP. That means this giant chimera now needs it for 30. Well, no, it needs to for like it has to hit for like 29, but right now it's just like 30 in order to kill us. So here he plays another Frozen Mammoth into another Snowman King. I'm like, okay, this is really annoying, but because it didn't die, on the first like turn 9 or whatever, because it didn't die there, I know now that I can only ever die if I like do something like incredibly silly while I'm like making these clears. So all I have to do right now is just like make sure I clear and make sure that my prime artifact stays as healthy as possible, ideally. Or just, if I suicide it off, I just like play Orcus instead. So here, I go ahead and make trades. Again, we always go ahead and we always make sure that we get the Flower Doll active immediately. So we'll go ahead and make trades here. We'll then go ahead and go Hamlin to copy something. It doesn't really matter what we copy, but ideally, I want to go ahead and copy the puppet to make more trades. To then play Orcus, and then just pass. So the reason why I held off on the Orcus thing, on using the Orcus to clear out the puppets, is because like thankfully he doesn't really gain that much from. Well, he doesn't gain as much as I do from having these puppets in my hand, because I can use these puppets to clear up other like additional shenanigans he might have. Because at the moment, I know for a fact that I literally can't kill him. Not this turn. The only thing I have to do is just make sure it's wrapped. Like, so we know that I have like the thing in the back, and if he does have it, technically a fire embrace into the giant chimera would be enough to kill me, I believe, as long as the giant chimera hits for about like 18 or 20, something like that. Which is certainly possible, because there are a lot of shadows in the graveyard, and one thing that I haven't been doing at all this game is just tracking the spell boost, which is like at this point like I more or less have like a game plan in my mind, and I just want to stick to it. So here he gets Magic Missile. When he plays the Magic Missile, I now know that there's no way I can die because he has 8 mana, which means he can't play Giant Chimera. So here he just plays the Fire Embrace, and he just like concedes. Like, he knows that he can't kill me because like again I have the Radiant artifact, or sorry, not Radiant. I'm sorry, Prime artifact coming back next turn. I'm still gonna win. So yeah. So even after that game happened, I was just like mentally just like exhausted. I was just like, wow, why are we here? What's going on, game? What's going on? I'm gonna skip this Force Draft game. Like, it's basically just like me just like beating up a D0 rank player or whatever who was playing Forest. So that's not really like a game or anything like that. As support, I'm skipping my Havencraft game as well because it's kind of like a bad beat sort of thing. And I don't know, like there's not really much like discuss about it. Although obviously, like, if someone like tells me in time, I'll go and try to like record the next one I get. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Swordcraft game, and then last will be the Force Draft game. So versus Sword, for the most part, you are pretty favored, just because like you can kind of like match them at their board clear sort of thing. But you have Magna Legacy. Like, if you find the Magna Legacy, you straight up just like win the game. Like, you straight up just win the game a lot of times, just because like they don't have any good clears to Magna Legacy that also prevents you yourself from gaining initiative. So alright. So I full keep this entire hand. I'm going first. I didn't need to full keep. I could perhaps toss back the Icarus or whatever, but I'm choosing to full keep like this because this is a pretty good curve. I have the Icarus. I want to copy the Icarus. Icarus is pretty good here. Now, unfortunately for him, I did high roll him really hard here. This is a 1 in 37, and I won the 1 in 37. Like, this happens a lot earlier than expected, and now he's in a bad spot because now I can just like draw cards for free. I pick Noah, so now I'm like cool. So now I have like my win con. Well, I have 8 win con, and so now I'll go ahead and copy the Hamlin. He plays up Lux. Lux is pretty good for him. Like, it's a no drawback play because like he guaranteed gets kills from on my board, and thankfully for me, it's not a hedgehog. So here I'll go ahead and Hamlin again to copy another analyzing artifact. I don't want to copy the Icarus because I know most likely I'm only gonna be evolving 1 Icarus this game. Well, unless I pick up a second one, but like ideally I probably just like want to evolve just 1. So here he plays up Mars. Mars is like the worst case scenario for us because like this Mars. I know a lot of people will just be like, you know, ignore the Mars or whatever, but I don't know about that one. It's pretty terrifying to just like ignore the Mars. So I'm just gonna deal with it because like we know he searched off a 4-cost commander or sorry, a 5 or less cost commander, and Veteran Cavalier that is a commander. If he has that, I probably lose the game because like he evolves it, he makes 1/3 tokens. I can't kill 1/3 tokens, so like he just gets to keep his tokens in play. I'm playing a lot of 2/1s and whatnot, so I might as well just like give him my 2/1s now, right? I give my 2/1s now to then draw a card and then play 3 more creatures. So just because like again, I'm really terrified about that card because that card shape just like wins games sometimes. So here we'll go and play this out. We didn't play up Miriam because like we don't have any artifacts in our deck right now, so. But next time we can play at Miriam for sure. Here he plays at Faust. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. He uses the Fatal Spell Bomb immediately. That's good for us. And then he makes a trade here, so we get to draw a card. So I did pick up my Pup Room. However, I don't want to play up Pup Room because Pup Room's kind of slow. It also doesn't. If I play a Pup Room, I'm also like not developing creatures, so I want to try to like play it out in a turn where it's good for me to do so. So instead, what I'll do is I'll actually go ahead and play out Icarus, as well as Miriam. Now I could have done this in a different order, in order to try to shoot for the, in order to try to get 50-50 on whether or not I got the, the ancient artifact. So that is a misplay for me slightly, but I valued the analyzing artifact and thought that I could just like win a 6 and 7 instead. Anyway, or sorry, not 6 and 7, a 2 and 3, I'm sorry, a 2 and 3 instead. So this is good because now he plays up this. The only issue with this turn is that like I'm not gonna be resonant, so now like the second Miriam, it's not good, which means I will have to take a weak turn of some sort this turn. So I'll go ahead and play up the Pup Room here. That's pretty good. Now I'm not going to choose to evolve because my evolve is really powerful here. Because he's sword, like he has like 4 more evolves left in his deck. I only have 1 real one. So now here he plays with the veteran Cavalier, or sorry, frontline Cavalier. I'm sorry, frontline Cavalier. And then he gets a full board, and this is terrifying now because like he has a hedgehog in play. I have to make a lot of trades too. Like these aren't trades I wanted to make, but I have to make them now. It's a pretty feels bad, man. So he should have gone face here, to be quite honest with you. But either or is fine. So now what happens is I just go ahead and bump here. I bump here to turn on my Miriam. I'll go and grab my search. Unfortunately, I don't roll in the way I wanted to roll, which is to pick up the ancient artifact. But that's fine. It doesn't matter. I can just go ahead and suicide some puppets, and that's perfectly fine. It's all right. Now I don't want to suicide too many because obviously I did want to hold some back for Orcus, but unfortunately I'm not gonna get the luxury of doing that. Although perhaps I could have just done it. But now if he plays our Arthur, which it looks like he's gonna do, then you know, like it's a thing that happened. Now here we see some of his Arthur pulls. Now we know that what this means is that like he's playing a lot of 2-drops, or they just like not playing, or they not just playing like Bear Knight or whatever. Because we see Prim, we see Hedgehog, we see Lux. Now of these two, the only one we didn't know, or sorry, of these three, the only one we didn't know of was the Prim, and that is good information for us. Because again, it means that he's playing a few more 2-drops than we expected, which means that his hand might have some 2-drops in it, and that's good for us. We do pick up our second and then third Orcus, so this is kind of cool. So we'll go ahead and play up the Orcus here, and then we'll go ahead and evolve our Orcus. Now, to be honest with you, I would have preferred that this would have been like an already like activated Orcus, but like unfortunately, you know, that wasn't the case. Like he forced us to make a lot of trades, so we'll go ahead and play 3 puppets here. And we'll go ahead and just suicide into the Hedgehog to clear it off. Hedgehog is kind of terrifying because I do have to kill off a lot of creatures in my deck. So I might just like, you know, clear it off now and burn off some of the cards in my hand. So here, I get another puppet. So now the second Orcus and third Orcus will be activated. However, he plays out Walfred here. So this surprised me a little bit. This Walfred play actually kind of like broke my back a little bit, because it's really, really good, and I don't have good answers to it because he has 9 HP in play. 9 HP is a lot more scary when you consider the fact that like before it was just like, I think like 5 HP, which is already kind of difficult. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and play out a puppet to burn hand size, to then go ahead and play out substitution, then go ahead and play out Hamlin to go ahead and copy a puppet, because that's the only thing we have to copy. And then we'll go ahead and suicide into the Prim. So we make the suicide because like we have taken some damage, and one thing that you do have to be respectful of is the amount of damage that Swordcraft player can like bring out just by you leaving any one creature on the board, just because stuff like Sky Fortress, and now we know that he's playing Walfreds as well. So this is really, really good information for us to just, you know, go ahead and like just remove all of this. We do have initiative for what it's worth. It's not much initiative, but it is initiative. So here he plays Cecilia into Lux, and this is really good. And this is really good for him because he got to draw more cards. And he got to like drop a lot of stats on into play. So now what we'll go ahead and do is actually go ahead and play at Noah. We play up the Noah. We go ahead and play exactly 1 puppet. We hold off on playing the other puppets because we can buff these puppets with the second Noah. And right now we have lethal. Like if he doesn't ward up next turn, we win. But here he plays a Sky Fortress. So to be honest with you, we should obviously, like, you should just expect the Sky Fortress to want to come out here. And so now we have a chance to lose. We have a chance to lose, but like we still made the place to win. But here in true GM fashion, I'm able to just like drop the Magnet Legacy on him from a vicious top deck and play up the Icarus. So the thing about this, the reason why Magnet Legacy is so good is because like from what we've seen, we know that he's probably not playing Bear Knight, or if he is, that he somehow like drew all of them or whatever. But we also know that he needs to get rid of this Magnet Legacy because Magnet Legacy is legitimately terrifying. Additionally, we know that if he doesn't ward up, I have lethal. I have lethal regardless. Like, one thing that a lot of people tend to like forget if you don't play it out immediately is a lot of people tend to forget about the puppets that you might have. So like if he is counting, he should know that if I have a second Noah, that I have like guaranteed lethal. But here he plays that Lance of Tempest into Princess Juliet, so I'm expecting to like full clear here, but that's, you know, it's not good enough. But instead he just like leaves us alive. I'm like, what? You know you died a second Noah, right? Again, in GM fashion, I go ahead and I top deck the Noah. I'll just go ahead and kill him here. So the big thing about this game is I could have honestly lost it just because like that Captain Walfred, it broke my back. Like it broke my back because I didn't hit my because I didn't really hit like, well, I hit a very, very good opening pocket of like things I could do, but I didn't really hit what I wanted to hit, if that makes sense. So, like, I didn't really hit like the things like, say, the Magna Legacy early, and I just had like multiple Orcus and multiple Noahs in my hand, and just like Swordcraft just being able to like make giant wards when they need to in a pinch is kind of good sometimes, especially when those wards become like 6 and they have like 6 HP or something like that. But yeah, all right, on to the last game. So this game is just forced. For the most part, if you as a player, like if you hate Portalcraft or whatever, right now the best thing to play into Portalcraft would be Forestcraft. Just because like Bramble spam is so good, because like irregardless of what archetype the Portalcraft player is playing, at some point they're going to play out a unit with 1 HP. 1 HP units do not fare well with the Brambles. So here I just full keep this hand. it's a pretty good pull keep because like it gives me like things that I need to get started early. Also gives me substitution. I like keeping removal versus force scrap just because, again, me as a player, what I'll do into people who play Brambles is I'll straight up just not play a card. If I can get away with it, I'll just not play a creature onto that board because I do not want them to airbound spam me and just like be like, like for example here, he plays out the Wood Brambles on 2. Wooded Brambles on 2 is a really bad play. It only works if you know they have like a second they have like a second Wooded Brambles or something like that. So now. Well, also, it only works if you either know you have that or if you know their opponent's going to play a creature onto the board. I'm not going to play a creature on the board because I want to force him to have the second Wooded Brambles. He either has to have the second Wooded Brambles or he has to have the Star Elf or whatever in order to get another Brambles. If he plays Star Elf, I'll just go ahead and play a creature this turn, and then not play a creature the next turn or something like that. That's just how we're going to go about it. So here he just plays that double fairy. I'm like, okay, sure, that's fine. I don't care. So I'll go ahead and do here is I'll just gonna play up my Magical Line and play up Magical Lines this way I get it online for next turn. It's a pretty good halfway play. Like it allows me to actually like develop something and actually just kind of like gauge how he's gonna respond to certain things I do. He holds back on the 1-drop, and so to be honest with you, I didn't really know what that meant at the time, and even now, like I only kind of like marginally understand it, because like it wasn't really that good. Anyway, so what we'll go ahead and do here is we'll go ahead and play out the Miriam to go ahead and get our search. Now, unfortunately for us, playing out this Miriam does actually mean that we probably need to evolve it because our hand is pretty reactive, so we need whatever creatures we play to be able to stick. And not just be like dead on board, whereas it would be here. Obviously, we go ahead and we evolve the Analyzer Artifact. You always evolve the Analyzer Artifact, in general, you always want to evolve the creature that's the most annoying for your opponent to kill, especially if it has like a last word effect attached to it. So here he plays a fairy into Airbound. I'm like, okay, all right, that's fair. I'll give you that because like if he just like obviously if he just committed everything, it would have been like really bad into strings. He holds the fairy again. I'm like, okay. So all I'll go ahead and do here is I'll go ahead and play at Spinaria. I'll actually go ahead and pre-evolve the Spinaria as well, because if he wants to clear this, right? If he wants to clear this, he has to go ahead and he has to have Cassiopeia. Well, either has to have a lot of cards, and then like and then Insect Lords, or he has to have Cassiopeia. If he plays Cassiopeia, I can go ahead and get rid of it now, and draw a card in the process, and it'll give me initiative. So we have a bunch of fairies. We also picked up our Magna Legacy. And we have the Noah as well, so like we're a pretty good spot. Like we just need to find this damage. We need to find damage like pretty quickly because it will be kind of hard to grind through the full 20 points of HP, but we're gonna try. So I'll play the puppet here in order to not overdraw. Here he plays like Yggdrasil. The Yggdrasil is actually really annoying because most times you won't actually know what they got because a lot of people will actually go and hold on to it. Well, if they didn't get the draw card, they'll usually go and hold on to it. But some people do actually take the Wrath. The reason why you take the Wrath is because like it actually does give you access to, well, if you have an Eva, of course, it gives you access to 8 mana 10 damage burst by just going Fairy and by just playing Quadra Fairy, then playing the Enhanced 4 of the Wrath spell, and then giving them all Storm. Now here, what we're going to do is we're just going to, and this is our turn to go ahead and go wide on the board. We know for a fact that he used the Cassio earlier, and we're not expecting to have a second Cassio, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go wide and play 5 creatures. The nice thing about this is that like it forces him to like want to play things. If he doesn't like play anything useful, we can just go ahead and Magna Legacy. If he plays small stuff, we can just go ahead and substitution it away and try to feed into our Noah. Now, unfortunately for us, he is going first, which will mean that they will have the opportunity to go ahead and just hit us with Junglewind, but before we can hit him with like Noah. Well, sorry, but yeah, to hit us with like Junglewind or whatever before you can like, do like other things. But here he gives us the last Evo to go ahead and clear off this with his Brambles, and then he just like goes, then he makes a trade here. That's fine with me. I don't care. This is good. Because now this gives me a very, very, very clean Magna Legacy turn. I even get a puppet out of it as well in order to go ahead and make sure that my Noah does like a lot of damage. So here I'll actually go ahead and hold on to the Evo, which I know might seem like a little bit weird. Why are you holding on to the Evo, Nandre? Like it doesn't really make sense, but it does actually, because one, Force is a deck that has access to some, not one, not two, but 3 errands. 3 errands is basically about the same equivalent as the whole like Luminous Mage thing, and that's really annoying when they have the Evo and you don't. So if you force them to like respect your Evo as opposed to like Evoing for face, you're less likely to get punished. Especially now when I have all these other like reactive cards as well. So he could bounce this. He can bounce the Brambles if he wants to, but they wouldn't have been a good clear until he played Forest Whispers, and I'm like, wow, that's really good. I wasn't expecting that to happen at all. So he plays out a bunch of fairies, and he plays a fairy dragon. I'm like, okay, sure, this is fine. The fairy dragon does give me information, because this is kind of what I expected him to be be doing. Here he chooses to make me overdraw. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Thankfully, I only overdraw meta production, which isn't that bad. So now what I can go ahead and do is I can actually go ahead and go strings. I go ahead and we get these puppets online into Icarus. I'll evolve the Icarus. It doesn't really matter what I get out of this. Even if I get the 3-1, I'll probably play the 3-1, because like thankfully he's out of Evo points. So now this Bramble becomes Brambles becomes less good. I still have removal spells in my hand. I thankfully do get the Analyzing Artifact, so I'll go ahead and trade here and then go face. I have the full 11 damage combo in my hand right now for Noah, and I can even make it even bigger if I want to. But here he plays a Jungle Warren. I'm like, okay, that's not really a good play. You're gonna use this to trade. If you're using this to trade, you're probably losing the game. But instead he goes space. So now what we need to be worried about is that okay, what happens if he has three Jungle Wardens in hand? Because that is a possibility. Like I would not be at all surprised, because like, well, sorry, it's either 3 Jungle Wardens it's either 3 Jungle Wardens or 2 Jungle Wardens, and then either a 3rd Jungle Warden or an elephant. Some combination of those 3 things will kill me. So all I'll go ahead and do here is I'll go ahead and play the Noah. We play the Noah this way. We can actually go ahead and full clear this board and push a lot of damage in the process. So I'll go ahead and make a trade here. We want to go ahead and trade off all of the puppets as opposed to trading off our real cards, because the real cards can always get me repetitive damage and the other ones can't. So we make all these trades like this, like so. And then we go ahead and we play the last puppet and we go in. Like, we fully committed, because we cannot win an extended game, and because we know that this sets up lethal. Cassio is actually an astonishingly good top deck for him. However, if he plays a Cassio, this gives the space to go ahead and go wide back onto the board. We can go and go Substitution, Icarus, Magic Steel, and then Flower Doll or something like that. But here he plays second Jungle Warden. Now we know if he doesn't trade at least once, he will die. But he needs to trade at least twice in order to win. Well, not really win, but he needs to trade twice in order to like not die and then win, because he has 3rd Jungle Warden. But unfortunately for him, he doesn't really make the trades. He just makes the 1. So we go ahead and full clear the board. Yeah, like trying to leave like this many creatures alive versus Portalcraft is really terrifying, because like I have, well, a lot of puppets that kind of get me the outs that I need in order to win, and we're able to take it and thus end up going 4-1. So like the big thing about this game was just like he played the Brambles on 2. Generally when you're playing up Brambles, you really want that Brambles to do something like the same turn you play it, but it didn't here, and I'm able to play around it not once but twice, and that's good. I kind of like